Wakanda forever. I bet y'all didn't think I was going to do that, huh? Anyway, it's the pollinator. And it's been a little while since I won't say made a vlog, but made a vlog public. I did make a couple that were rather personal, but they, anyway, I made a couple that were personal and did not make them public. So, but this vlog, this topic is going to be called Talk a Good Talk. And I looked back over time, kind of hopscotching, looking at my vlogs, my earlier vlogs when I first started transitioning to somewhere in between, and then some of them at the this year. And of course I see a noticeable difference in my demeanor, in my tone of voice, in the things that I talked about. Because see, in the first year of this transition period, people are, what I've noticed and observed is, trans men are all about their transition, because this is the craziest ride you could ever imagine. For those that are on testosterone, as your hormone levels shift, it just causes the most amazing things to happen. And I'm not saying amazing in a good way or a bad way, just different things to happen in our bodies and in our minds. But so anyway, and then, the political climate and the racial climate in this country started rearing its ugly head. And I started getting madder and madder and more incensed at what is going on in this country, and around the world. I mean, I'm not just keeping my eye on the United States. I'm also looking at things going on in Canada, in Europe, in Africa, in South America, in the Caribbean, to the Far East, the Asian lands. And boy, I tell you what though, people are beginning to wake up, but right now people are still very, very much just talking about what's going on, but not necessarily acting on what's going on. Which brings up this topic. People are talking a good talk, but they ain't walking a good walk. They're not walking anywhere. They're all caught up in their own lives, their own narratives, their own circles, I see people as trying to keep as low of a profile as possible. I'm not sure what that's about, except to not stick out, as to not becoming a target of any of this stuff going on, even though that really doesn't save them from that. Maybe that buys time. But every black person I know has experienced some form of brutality, discrimination, at the workplace, in public, through the politics, through healthcare, through housing, through some area of their life has been touched by what people's eye is on the ball of what's going on dramatically, but they're not seeing that this is just a repeat. We are on repeat, people. This is not new. Everything that's going on is not new. But those that weren't around during the civil rights movement may think it's new when they see it. They haven't seen the undercurrent that shit never went away. It never went anywhere. It just took on a different name. It took on a different face. It took on a lot of different actions that went more underboard than the blatant crap that was going on in the 1960s, the 1950s, the 1960s. It just took on a different form. But things have happened to me all my life. So it's not like there's been a break for us in that narrative. So, goes back to talking a good talk versus walking a good walk versus walking what you're talking. Now, most people know that, I was in the process of getting my business up and running and off the ground and sustainable. But I did a seminar and then I had eye surgery, which has just taken the wind out of my sails. I'm battling. I'm still doing things spottily here and there, but this eye is still extremely uncomfortable. Sometimes it hurts. There are sutures in this eye that they're trying to tell me are dissolvable, but I think they're lying, because if they were dissolvable, they would have dissolved by now, and they're not. So there's one in this corner, there's one in that corner, and there's probably one up underneath, and it's just so uncomfortable. And is affecting my vision for some reason, even though they didn't touch the colored part of my eyes. I seen double when I tried to read. I can't see necessarily what I'm typing, even though in order for me to be accurate and not make typos, I have to see, because I just type by touch. I don't have to be looking at my fingers to be typing. Thank you, Mom and Aunt Barbara. I got that gift from them. They were also very, very fast typists. But anyway, this topic is going to extend to people that they're not members of my business. In order for legally for you to be able to call people members of your nonprofit, they literally have to be contributing something to it, and usually in the form of dues or money or something of that nature. And I made a decision in the very beginning that because I saw some, not all, but some of our civil rights leaders did not charge money for what they did. And what I'm seeing right now is a crap load of black people who are trying to charge money for what they think they're doing for the community. And I don't care they're doing that in the transgender community, because there's a lot of money running around that community. But the black community, in and of itself, economically, we have always been behind the curve. And what sense does it make to lead us to freedom for a price? Did any of the civil rights leaders do that? No. Some of them were religious, so some of them did get some funding and some money to move around the country and do what they did, or do what they did through the church. But that was probably just, airfare and hotel accommodations that were being paid for. Did I say hotel and travel and hotel? And probably got paid to speak by those churches. But you know what? For the most part, they did not use capitalism per se to do what they did for black people. They did what they did from here, from their heart. They did what they did from a vision. And right now, there are so many visions going on all over the place that is very, very difficult to attract people's attention in this area. Now, it's easy to attract people's attention if you got a product, if you've got, something that they're buying besides a vision. It's all about money, people. It's not about, it's about goods and services, and it's not about movement. When it comes to movement or movements, people are so scared they ain't doing shit but running around in their own inner circle. They're watching this, they're watching that, they're paying a lot of attention to the drama of things and not to the mechanics of anything. And so you've got, I've been watching a lot of Roland Martin videos lately, a lot of his lives that are going on, because I like the fire of that man. Now, his background is in journalism, but he's a journalist that speaks. He's a journalist that put the black narrative into his journalism, and he's got a lot of he's ramping up, because when they let him go from TV1, he promised everybody that he would be back in some way, form, or fashion. And so he started his own thing and is doing lives all over the country. He travels a lot, and he needs people's support in order to put the narratives of black people out there that aren't tainted by what some white business owner tells him he can or cannot say, can or cannot, who he can and cannot interview, who he can and cannot bring into the public eye to put a spotlight on either things that they say positively or things that they say negatively. Now, that's him. And he doesn't seem to have that Hotep mentality, that Muslim mentality, or the hardline Christian black mentality of absolutely hating LGBT types. If we want to be, if we want to have any support in that area, it's almost like you have to be undercover. You have to be in the closet. You cannot, if you come out in the black community as one of the LGBT plus, it's not good. Not good things are going to happen for you. They're not going to support any of your causes because they're so anti-LGBT. More so and more violently and more negatively than other types of black people. And I see that everywhere. I see that in public. I see that on social media. I see that in the media. I see that in articles. I also write for Medium, which is something I started maybe 6 months ago or so. But I look at all of the articles on that publication that are more popular than others, and all the black ones get far less support than the white ones. The white ones can skip around the world talking about all sorts of crazy things. Hell, they can promote Pokemon and they're going to get more hits and more supporters than somebody who is critically real, who tells it like it is, who is trying to educate the public, who is trying to, just being real and not trying to either make money off of that platform or trying to sugarcoat anything, or trying to go through the back door, or supporting themselves as a full-time writer. I am not a full-time writer. I do it part-time. I do it when I'm inspired, and it's not a full-time thing for me. But I'm very real over there, and I just recently started asking people to join the Medium, not as a member, but as a reader, so that they can comment, clap, and follow various writers that they like on that platform, including myself. it's a way for me to, I guess you can say, get paid for writing, which takes a lot. I do it very fast, but I spend more time editing things that I write than I do writing it. I put that stuff together very, very fast, but then I start going back and editing things. So I'm up to big things, people, and I recently figured out that the bigger things that you're up to in life, the more breakdowns that occur, because, well, that's just the nature of the beast. Okay, if you try to play your life in the middle of the road and not really excel yourself too much, and then don't fail or don't underachieve, you'll have less breakdowns than you do when you're putting yourself way out there on a limb. And I'm putting myself way out there on a limb for society's sake. I don't have to do that. I can be all about myself, like I see millions of people doing. I can be, pull back and not be the kind of person who's out to make a difference in the world. I can very much choose to do that or be that way, but I don't think my soul would be happy. I would be more comfortable, but as a person who has been making a difference in many different areas of life, most of my adulthood, I would not be fulfilled with that, because I know my purpose, and I'm not just a blade of grass blowing in the wind where I don't know where I'm going, and I just live my life for, my friends. I don't have a partner. I'm single. So I don't live my life just for vacations, fun, work, or play. I have a sprinkling of things that I'm doing that aren't just about me. And the last article I wrote on Medium, the very last thing I said in there, which I put a picture, a meme, that made reference to being self-centered in it. I'm still seeing a whole lot of self-centeredness going on with people. Even when it comes to my business, people talk to me, but when asked to participate in very minute ways, not even ways that are gonna cost them very much time, they can't even fucking do that. No, instead they're playing this competition game that I've been seeing trans men play, where they're just trying to get attention and trying to get people to follow the trivialism of their life. They're not out to make a difference for nobody but themselves. So it's very, very, I'm trying to find a word for it, but it's not annoying me. It just concerns me that, people would say one thing but be about another. That is a definition of lacking integrity. Don't even tell somebody you're going to do something if you don't intend to do it, or if you're going to make excuses for not doing it, or if you're just going to be ghost about anything that you've actually said you were going to be about. Why even put that out there? Because people just look like big ass flakes to me. They look like, I don't know what they're doing. I'm like, okay, if you want to be about my life, or if you want to be in my life, if you want to get anywhere close to me, I'm not even telling people what the mission is for my business. And I have a specific reason for that. I want people to be inspired, to be self-inspired, not because they're going to get anything out of me or get anything out of my business. because it's not all about them. It's all about humanity on a whole, of black people, but it isn't all about their individual agendas. So I don't want anybody getting all, oh, okay, now, oh, now I know. They know damn well what their business was about, because I interview everybody coming in, and I let them know what to expect, what I expect of them. Hell, I'm not even, part of it is on that Fuckerbook platform, and they don't have to do anything besides just pay attention. Like things once in a while and interact. I'm not asking a lot. But you would think I'm asking a lot, and you know why it looks like that? Because they're self-absorbed. It's all about where they're headed. And so I'm, am I frustrated? Yes, I'm frustrated with people's dual agendas and lack of loyalty to anything they said they would be about. Their word means nothing. And the seminar that I was in, boy, they talk about that a lot. Your word is your bond. Your word is everything. What you say you're going to do, if you don't do it, is just going to throw off everything around what you were talking about, what you said you would do. So I'm gonna go live about this on that platform, just to see who's paying attention, and just to see what happens. I'm not even sure what I'm after, except just to engage people. Because right now I just do it in writing. I do it privately with a lot of them. And okay, what should I use instead of members? Not participants exactly. Patriots? No, not patriots. I don't know. Some kind of other word besides members, because they're not members. They're just people that are there around the business who are just, I don't know what they're waiting for, but I'm going to try to find out. Personally, if I could see good enough to actually see the comments going on, or if people are asking me questions, and I may or may not pull some other people in it as I do it. This one isn't going to be announced. I'm not going to promote it. I'm not going to do anything of the sort. I'm just going to do it. Life is in the doing, not just in the speaking. Life is in what you do, not just what you speak. They must align, or you're out of integrity. Anyway, that's how I live my life, with a lot of integrity. I'm not going to promote things and people who are just being only about themselves, because this country is in serious trouble, or we have a serious challenge. Is a big ass wake up call going on, and either people rise to that challenge or they fall asleep again, or they go to sleep on what's going on here. And it's not just here, it's blowing across the world, where the media is catching up and sensationalizing, listen to that word, sensationalizing what is going on all over the world. They're not calling people to action. They're not, and I'm talking about mainstream media, is not calling people to act, except for the asshole racists and supremacists that are in charge. They are definitely speaking in code to them, but they're not speaking in code to this idea of democracy in this country. And so the rest of us have to be self-motivated to do things, to fight the fight of our lives, and see if we can pull as many people on board to do the same. So, I'm not, definitely to those people in the United States that are seeing this vlog, definitely vote this year. If you think your vote doesn't count, then you do not know the history of this nation. You don't understand the history. And if you don't care about that, this country is not going to care about you. It already doesn't for a lot of us. But in order for us to change any narratives, we have to be involved in just voting, which isn't going to cost you anything to do except time, commitment to get yourself registered, which is too late for the midterms because they're right around the corner. But just to be engaged in the destiny of your life just a little bit. That is why voting, people died for your right to vote. Your right to vote. People died for that. And if you don't take that seriously, then you are just all about your life. And you're not about what's going on in this country and what's coming at you is a global conversation, is a national conversation. It's going to come at you and run over your ass, whether you're awake or not, whether you're involved or not in who your local representatives are, because those people are the ones that are going to select who runs in 2020. If you don't vote this year, you're handing over, you're just saying, I don't care who they put in there. That is what silence is consent means. If you don't do anything and you remain silent and you don't think your vote counts and you just blend into the background, then you're saying you are consenting to whoever these Republican, racist, supremacist, alt-right assholes select to be the president, to run against the biggest idiot that this country has ever seen try to run this country. That is what your silence will do. It's just default. You ain't gonna have nothing to do with who gets elected, because that's up to your senators and your House of Representatives in your local state that you live in. It's up to them. But it's really up to you. They work for us, but they don't forgot that. These politicians have forgot who the hell they work for. They think they work for... It's all ass backwards, okay? That's why we got to get rid of a lot of dead weight that are just collecting paychecks in your local government, which is going to be dictated by the midterms this November. I told everybody on Fucker Book that, if most of the states in the United States go blue because of all the bullshit they're seeing and people are tired of it, I'm going to dance. I'm going to do a dance. Now, my feet are not well, so it's going to be difficult for me to do it, which is why you haven't seen me dance on camera since 2016. Because the older I get, the worse this condition gets, and I can't seem to... Well, there's something going on that I'm trying to do about it in the background, but they definitely have... Both of my feet have arthritis, and both of them have neuropathy, but the VA is another conversation that I'm not going to have tonight, this morning. It seems like all businesses and agencies and whatever you want to call them are being extremely... Well, they're lacking integrity and being lazy too. They're just doing enough to get themselves paid, and they're not going overboard to care about the people that they're supposed to be caring about. I was talking with a veteran buddy of mine, and he was like, you know what, man, all this is we're disposable. We're just as disposable now as we were while we were serving, and that's really what it's like when you're in the military, is you're just as disposable as tissue. And so, but it's kind of how they're treating us as veterans after we've served, is that this is just a paycheck to them, mostly. And so a lot of them don't have a patriotic bone in their body. They're just employees of the VA, and they're not committed to the welfare of veterans, which is why we have so many problems with the VAs around the country. They're not committed to that. And something else is coming up, which is that, various different states are starting to push back against the laws that Obama enabled for transgender rights in America. That's why you need to vote. If you don't do anything but wipe your ass, go to work, do other little things in your personal life, if you don't do anything else, just make sure to vote this year. I don't care how you vote. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't even believe in this political system of the parties anymore. But I do believe that it's going to matter in 2020, and in the middle of my life, it's going to matter. This year is really super important. So I'm going to. Okay, I see a 3. I'm not sure of the time here, but I'm going to bid you adieu for this morning. And I know there's other things I wanted to say, but I really kind of touched on several things in this talking the talk versus walking the walk, versus being self-centered about your life versus really doing society and your particular community a service. How you charge for that, how you support one another. I'm not seeing that going on very well either. I'm just seeing, support me, support me, support me, but I don't have to support you. And I'm just not falling for that okie doke shit. Now, if I moved beyond words, then I'm going to be supportive of it. If I moved, not if it's going to move you. It's got to move. It's got to go both ways before I'm going to support it. Period. And I mean support as in my time and my finances and whatnot. It's got to go both ways, or forget that. And that goes all the way down to my personal life, to my choice in women, who I'm going to date, or anything like that. It's the same deal. If it's all about them, keep it moving. I'm not going to be engaged in any kind of situation like that again. Or that's what it is, a situation, a situationship, and not a relationship. And that goes for friendships too. I can be just an acquaintance, or I can be your friend. But if you want to be dysfunctional as hell and toxic and all this stuff, if your life is all fucked up and you just want me in it to help you sort it out, if that isn't doing anything for me, I'm not falling for that okie doke either. You can just sit over there somewhere and do what you do, because I'm not going to be pulled into situations that I do see as toxic, or I see as dysfunctional, or that I see they're not going anywhere. They're just spinning their wheels and they're playing in life, and they may have a job, but that's all they're engaged in, is playing and having a job. But if they aren't willing to invest time, quality time with me, I'll give to them what they're giving to me, which won't look like quality. It'll just look like, okay, you're an appendage over here somewhere, and that's fine. I'm not judging it, but don't try to get quality while giving me crap. I'm not about that life anymore. I'm not about that. When it comes to that, it's eye for an eye. And I'm just no longer going to go overboard to give undeserving people my time, my heart, even my wisdom, even things like that. I'm starting to rethink who I'm giving that to and who I'm not giving that to. Something like that. So, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. Before you know it, it's going to be Monday for people who are doing the Monday through Friday thing, or the Monday through Saturday thing. Y'all that don't get no days off at all, holy crap. You need a day off. Too much work will burn you out and make you real grumpy. And who wants to be around grumpy? I'm even funny and crazy in the midst of a lot of discomfort and pain and a lot of strange things that I've done while in very precarious situations. I mean, I should tell you what happened the day of my colonoscopy. I had the people in the lobby cracking up. I was being so outrageous in there, and I was not comfortable. I don't need to be in a comfortable place in my life to spread love, to spread joy, to spread laughter, to spread something that people, even though they'll never see me again, will never forget. That I smiled at them, that I made them laugh, that I did something for them besides sit there. And I was miserable because I had the runs. You know, that shit they give you, that pre-prep crap they give you is awful. But even in the midst of that, while I was waiting to be called back for this procedure, me and my friend had the attention of this lady that was sitting there, and we both had her laughing. You know, and I'm the one that actually started it, and he thought I was interested in her. I was just trying to make the best out of a fucked up situation called a colonoscopy. And for those of you that are less than 50 years old, they're not gonna. Your doctor and your PCP is not gonna ask you to have one done until you turn 50. They may roll that back and start asking people younger to have them done, but they are the worst. The prep is the worst. The prep is the worst. I don't know what happened during the procedure because, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was out. they had me on anesthesia. But just think about what I'm saying, about sharing the love. I don't care about your drama. I care about your heart. I care that you're giving your heart to people. Not just circulating drama around the internet. Who the fuck cares about that? I mean, people do care about that, but it is not the crux of what it is we need to be doing about what is going on in this nation. Because whatever we do, guess what? We're the leaders of the free world. Whatever we do, others will follow. Take a look. Do your research. What goes on here starts blowing around the world extremely quickly. Even though there are other countries that are trying to distance themselves from the United States, they ain't no better. They're just more hidden about what they're doing. And they distance themselves to hide the fact that they're hiding what they're really doing in other countries. There's a lot of games being played around the world, but we've got the biggest joke and game on the planet right now because of Agent Orange, who is just the biggest. Oh my God, that is an awful man. And it's amazing that he has so many followers, and his followers are equally as awful as him. So we gotta clean house, man. We gotta. What did he call it? Drain the swamp. Yeah, he's in the swamp. He's a swamp leader. So we gotta drain the swamp of these people. And especially your local Congress, who get to serve in office way longer than them presidents do, and the president's administration. These local clowns sit there for years before there's another election to vote them out. The midterms don't happen every 4 years. I forgot how many years it happens, but it isn't every 4 years. So whoever gets elected into Congress and into your local offices in November are going to be there to be dead weight or contribute to society through several presidencies. This is serious. Hate to yell, but I was so calm and mild-mannered in the beginning, wasn't I? For any of you that saw my earlier videos, not only was I mild-mannered and whatnot, I was also extremely nervous because I hadn't spoken up and out for decades. So I was very green and I was very new to my transition, and I was scared. You couldn't see that. It looked like I was, I was very ecstatic and happy, but I was also scared and wasn't used to speaking, especially on video. I used to run from cameras when I was a kid. So that was all very new for me, and it took me a while to get relaxed and to get real and to get comfortable and to get comfortable in my own body. You know, again, this stuff screwing with your hormones puts you in a different place for a while until your body gets used to them. So anyway, I see a 4 now, so it's time to go. Have a blessed, wonderful Saturday, and the pollinator is peacefully out.